Good morning, everybody, and Happy New Year to all. So we are just starting our Friday live session on BIJO Sebastian talk show on YouTube and Facebook, and we have Immigrant Tales, the new channel. So we are live on that one as well. So today we have a special guest, Patrick Macron. So he will be describing to you different things about the CELPIP examination, which is a test for for the newcomers here or students or those who want to come to Canada for the studies. So welcome, Patrick. So we will have this session for around half an hour. So you can put your questions in the chat box here and we will be discussing. So usually I have this session in Malayalam most of the time, and we have sometimes English and different languages. So kindly apologize those who are watching it from India, Kerala. So you can put your questions in English. So we will be reading those Q&A also. Welcome, Patrick. So
Thanks so
we
much for
can
having me
start.
today. I'm
Yeah,
very excited to be here.
thank you. So can we start our session like, asking some few basic questions about this examination, because many are not familiar with, the CELPIP examination, and you are the right person to give more information because Patrick is working with CELPIP test and also uh, CAEL test, that is academic part of this division, this test. So he is the right person to give you the first-hand information, right? So let me ask you a question. What is this test actually, Patrick? That is CELPIP, and
So
could you please
CELPIP
brief us?
CELPIP is it's a Canadian developed English test. So it was actually developed by University of British Columbia, and then a private company called Paragon bought the test from the university, and then another company bought Paragon. So that company is Prometric, and that's the company that owns CELPIP now. Um, the test is it's a general English test, and it is accepted for the Canadian immigration process. So when you're applying for permanent residence, it is an accepted test. Right now, it's accepted for Canadian purposes only, but it is an alternative to other tests that you can take for your PR application in Canada.
That's great, Patrick. So people are so familiar with the IELTS examination or OET examination, these kinds of examination. So how do you differentiate with this test when you say about the CELPIP examination?
Yeah, there are some differences. So they're both made by different companies. The two tests, so they are slightly different. CELPIP, given that it was developed in Canada, for example, when you're doing the listening component, you're going to be listening to dialogue in Canadian accents. So you'll not be listening to like a British accent or an Irish accent. It's only going to be Canadian accents that you're listening to during the listening test. The full test uses North American English, so English that's used in Canada and the US. Um, has a couple other differences too. So with CELPIP, you complete all four sections: listening, reading, writing, and speaking, all within 3 hours in one single sitting. So with some other tests, you complete part of the test maybe in the morning, but then you have to come back later that day or another day to do like a separate speaking test. But with CELPIP, you do the speaking test right after the other components. So once the 3 hours is up, you've completed your full exam, and then you can just, enjoy the rest of your day. So everything's done within 3 hours. The good thing about CELPIP is that if you finish the test in, say, 2 hours, then it's only a 2 hour test. You're free to leave the center. So another feature of CELPIP is that it does have spell check. So if you misspell a word on the writing test, the system will underline it, the same as it would on Microsoft Word. And then you can click on the misspelled word, and it will give you possible corrections to choose from. So it does have those features that maybe differentiate it from other exams. Last but not least, the listening and reading components are multiple choice. There's no fill in the blank. So you don't have to worry about filling the correct word into the blank and then spelling it correctly. You're just going to be given 4 options, and you have to pick the right one for listening and reading. So that's kind of a summary of some of the differences between other exams.
That's great. That's a great input. And I can see these two tests here, that is CELPIP and CAEL. I think it is CAL. You pronounce
Kale,
it as
yes,
right. So
pronounced like
how
the
do you differ?
vegetable that
Yeah, yeah.
is not too tasty.
That's great. Right. So what are the difference between these tests? Are they one and the same, or something like general and academic? I
Yeah,
mean,
so
yeah.
CELPIP is our so we have two. We have a CELPIP. Sorry, we have a general English test and an academic English test. So they're both taken for different purposes. So CELPIP is used for applying for PR, and CAEL is used if you want to study in Canada, and you're trying to show the university or college that you can speak an adequate level of English. So they're both similar tests. They're both computer based. With CELPIP, you have to go to the test center to take the exam. With CAEL, you can take the test from home on a laptop or computer or at the test center. So with CAEL, you have the option of either. And the universities and colleges, all of them accept the test in Canada. And they accept, most of them accept the online from home version, and they all accept the test center version of CAEL. Um, they're similar tests, but CAEL is a little bit more academic in nature. So the topics in the test are going to be like first year university arts and sciences topics. So whereas with CELPIP, the content of the test is just going to be like general everyday life topics, like asking a bus driver for directions, buying a coffee at a coffee shop, whereas CAEL is going to talk about more academic topics in the test. So that's kind of the major difference.
Yeah, basically the self-pip one has to go to center to take the test, whereas CAL, the can person can sit at home and take it from a laptop. So my
Exactly.
next question is test centers are available in different countries? Basically, I'm from India. Are they available there in different countries?
Yeah. So we have CELPIP. We have a lot of test centers in India, maybe around 15, and we're pretty much every couple weeks and months we're opening new test centers in India. So we have all over the country. We have like Chennai, we have Chandigarh in the north, we have like Ahmedabad on the west. So we have you can go to celpip.ca/India, and that's going to show you all of our testing locations. We also have test centers all over the world. So we have, Nigeria, for example, in Africa. We have Korea, Japan. We have South America, like Mexico, Ecuador, Colombia. So but the key thing is that we're always opening new test centers. So we're trying to be more convenient to test takers all around the world as time goes on. But yeah, the test fee will vary a little bit depending on which country you're taking the test in. But in Canada, the test fee is $290 Canadian plus tax. In India, I believe it's 12,500 rupees plus tax, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll vary a little bit depending on which country you're taking CELPIP in.
Yeah, that's a great input, because many people were only thinking about they can take the test in Canada alone, as it is a Canadian test.
Yeah.
So how does this speaking part work? Because in IELTS you can see the person interview the candidate and decide the speaking score. So what is happening here?
Yeah, so in CELPIP, it's a little bit different. So you're actually completing the speaking component by yourself. So there will not be like a speaking examiner that's evaluating you face to face. So for people that have like maybe some anxiety of being evaluated like face to face, that will not be a factor in the CELPIP speaking. So You won't have to worry about making eye contact with the examiner. You won't have to worry about your body language. Basically, you're going to be following the instructions on the computer screen in front of you. So it will give you different prompts. It will say, talk about a great experience you had, maybe a great vacation. And then you're going to have a headset on with a microphone. You're going to be talking into the microphone, providing responses, and it's going to be recorded. And then it'll be listened to and graded at a later date by real CELPIP speaking evaluators. So they're not going to be listening to it live. They will listen to your recordings that you provide into the microphone. So they'll just basically be completing speaking by yourself. So you won't have to worry about, that kind of intimidation of having someone in front of you. But yeah, it's a different format. So some people prefer this format. Some people prefer more of an interview style. So, we do have a practice test on the website. You can try the CELPIP format and just see if it's the right test for you. But yeah, it's a little bit different than other exams that are out there.
Yeah, that is really interesting because even I was working as an IELTS trainer. So I have trained more than, around 2000 people I have trained, especially the medical professionals when I was in New Delhi. So the most difficult part for the the IELTS test was the speaking session. Everybody was scared about the speaking day. So what to say, speaking to an unknown person. So the intimidating factor, all these things were a trouble actually.
For
So
sure.
that's really great about when you compare with the CELPIP and the IELTS test. So
Yeah.
my next question is like, right now there are some immigration changes. Every month immigration is changing in Canada.
Oh,
And
yeah.
after November 1st there was an announcement. It's about the Pgwp postgraduate work permit holders, or those who are applying for it. They have to take the examination, the language examination. That is, I hope it is CLB 5 for the graduates from colleges and university. They have to have 7, CLB 7. So in this scenario, so what type of test they have to take, that the CELPIP or the CAEL test they have to take? I think it is the general part or academic part. Do you have some inputs on that?
Yeah, so for we're getting like a huge demand right now because of this announcement that kind of came out of nowhere from the federal government of Canada. So for PGWP purposes, the CELPIP test is our accepted assessment for that pathway. So yeah, so people that want to register, take CELPIP for PGWP, you would just register for the exam the same way. So you would go on the CELPIP website, which is celpip.ca. And then it's going to ask you, when you register for the test, it's going to say, what is the reason why you're taking the test? What's the purpose? So for PGWP, you would just select for Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada. And then once you select that, it's going to have a few more options. So you want to select for permanent residence or temporary residence in Canada. So that's what you would select as your test purpose if you're taking the test for PGWP. But yeah, it's the CELPIP that's accepted, not the CAel for that particular pathway.
That's great. So something is scrolling down. That is our student professional services by Canadian Skills. If you have any questions related with the test or immigration related, we have RCCs working with us also to help the students. You can also shoot your questions to this WhatsApp number. Voice messages or your queries can be addressed in this number. Yeah, let's come back again. Yeah, we have discussed a lot of things. This is the language and language improvement. So what's your suggestion about preparing for this test? So do they have to take some classes or some practice materials available, training centers available? uh, can you suggest, please? Right.
Yeah, sure. I would say like a good starting point is taking the free practice tests that we have on the website. So we actually have two complete free practice tests. And then once you've completed the practice test, you can actually check your listening and reading scores based on how you did in the practice exams. So it can give you kind of like a starting point as to what level you might be operating at in CELPIP. So and then use that to figure out like how did the exam feel? Do I need a lot of preparation, or did I feel pretty confident taking that practice exam? But we do have a lot of webinars that we're running every week, so you can register for live webinars. We have component specific webinars, so we have like a speaking pro webinar, a writing pro, a listening pro. So you can kind of you have a webinar for each component depending on where you're struggling. Um, I would recommend, like, we do have a lot of self study products that you can buy on the website, like practice tests, online study programs. But I would recommend, if you have a little bit extra money, to consider taking CELPIP preparation classes, because we do have providers in different regions that offer online classes in person. But it is good to kind of get a teacher to work with to prepare to help you get ready for the exam. They can give you individual feedback. You can work with other students in a classroom environment to prepare for the test. So I would definitely recommend to spend a little bit more money on prep classes, because maybe it will allow you to only take CELPIP once. Whereas if you don't go for the prep classes, maybe you have to take the test 3 or 4 times. So, you want to try to maximize your preparation so that you can get the score that you need when you actually take the exam.
That's a great input, Patrick. Like concerning the eligibility score, like how this is scored, reading, listening, writing, and speaking. So, what's the pass mark? Is there any pass mark for this?
So the CELPIP scores are aligned with the Canadian language benchmark levels. So the government of Canada has their own level classification system to understand your proficiency. So it goes from 0 to 12. So the CELPIP levels are equal to the CLB levels. So you're going to get a level from 0 to 12 in each component. Um, so with CELPIP, typically you have to meet a minimum score. So the person that, or the body that's asking you to produce CELPIP results will specify which score you need to meet in the test. So whether it's a college, whether it's the government of Canada, they will specify what score you have to meet for your application. So if you want to find out what score you need for CELPIP, you can contact the government of Canada. They would post it on their website, which is canada.ca. And it will tell you have to meet, for example, CLB 7, Canadian Language Benchmark 7, or Canadian Language Benchmark 6. They will tell you what score you have to meet. Or you can contact like an immigration professional, so a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, and they will tell you what score you have to meet. But unfortunately, we don't have that information. We just provide you the scores, but you'll have to find out, from the government or from a lawyer, what score you have to meet for your unique application to Canada.
Yeah, I think they can see the website cac.gc.ca, and when they scroll down to different tabs, can get different updates about the required score.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah.
this is also same like the basic level, intermediate level, advanced level. I hope same as the scoring in IELTS. I know about the IELTS only. That's why I'm speaking about the IELTS much about it, because basic level for the skilled trades jobs or university admission, obviously they need to have the 7 band score.
Yes.
So as Patrick mentioned here, it is better to take some preparation course rather than testing and seeing your score. I think you have to spend about $290. It's big money. So it's better to spend maybe like $200 to $300 on preparation and get some study materials. That'll be better, I hope, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
always better to, spend a little bit more money than you probably planned, but then you only have to take the test once because you're adequately prepared for the exam. So, like even if you're a native English speaker, you still need to know, in order to do your best, you still need to know what to expect. Like you don't want to go into the test kind of blind and not knowing how the questions are going to look, how you're expected to answer them. It's like I use this analogy a lot, but you might know how to drive, but you still need to pass the driving test. So you need to know, you know, the rules of the road, things like that. So same with Celpip. Even if you are a native speaker, you should be learning the format, learning, what the raters are looking for when they're scoring you, so that you can kind of get the upper hand. And I think with immigration, the higher score you get, the better it is in a lot of cases. So you want to, aim to do your absolute best.
yeah, that's correct. Because when I came as a new immigrant here, I never used to drive cars in India. So I was driving the the motorcycles there. So I came here and learned driving. So it was easy for me to get the test passed in the first go. But my friend, he was a very good driver back home, and he failed 4 times because he didn't
Yeah,
go for any
there
any
you
of the
go.
training classes there. So he was so confident about. Then after failing the fourth time, he took yeah, only 12 classes. Then
Okay.
he passed the examination. That you're right, absolutely
Yeah,
right about it, right? So any skills, if you really practice it, then you will have an upper hand in taking the test and also getting a better score. My next
definitely.
question is, what is the score release date? Like, do you get this the the CELPIP score the same day, or we have to wait for certain days?
That's a great question. So you actually get the scores. So what we post on the website is that the scores come out in 3 to 4 days after your test. But in most cases, you get it in 2 to 3 days. But 3 to 4 days is kind of like the maximum period that it would take. But typically, it's like 2 to 3 days after your test, you get the results, and you'll get a digital score report. So you'll have to sign into your Celpip account on the website with your email and password, and then you're going to have your digital results. And you can download those results onto your computer as a PDF file, and then submit them online to the government of Canada, for example. So um, we're not, after COVID, we are no longer automatically mailing the physical score reports. But now you have access to the digital score report, which you can just download and then send online. So it's pretty easy to access your scores.
Yeah. So what about the validity of this test? Is it for 1 year, 2 year? How's it?
It's the same as other standard exams. So it'll be 2 years from the test date. It's valid for. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, these are the questions that I was expected to ask you. And do you have anything else to contribute which I didn't ask you? And from your day-to-day experience, do you have anything to contribute other than this?
That's a good question. I would say, definitely follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram ID is Celpip Test Official. So it's Celpip Test Official. So you can look us up on there. There are some scam profiles that try to pretend to be us. So just make sure you have the correct address, and we are verified. So, but that's a great way to stay up to date with like new test centers that we're opening up in. Usually once a month, we have like a study product sale where all of our self study materials are like 50% off. So usually that's one time a month. Um, so on our Instagram, we notify people when these sales are happening. So yeah, that's a great a tip, is to stay up to date on there. Our YouTube channel has maybe 20 to 30 hours of preparation material. So you can watch lessons whenever you're free, whenever you're finished work or you drop the kids off at school and you have some time. Our YouTube channel has a lot of videos that you can watch to prepare for the test, a lot of lessons. Yeah, and then I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Yeah, so I mentioned the practice test. If you attend some of our webinars, usually you'll get like a free study product for attending. So it's another reason to jump on one of our webinars. Um, we can probably do a promotion with you, BIJO. Maybe we can have a study product available for people that that are your clients or your viewers. So we can discuss that, and maybe you can post it after the webinar
Yeah,
to
that's
offer
great.
like
That's
a free
great.
study product.
Yeah, sure. So I can also link in this description after this live session, whatever Patrick has told right now about the training materials and Instagram page, everything, so people can follow. And I also sometimes see some scams in Facebook and all, this is available, get the test score from this place, that, and all.
Yes,
So
where you can
following
just
the right person is
purchase
very
a
important.
score
Yeah.
report. Yeah, they have a lot of
Yeah.
those on Instagram I've
Yeah.
seen. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
just make sure the government of Canada verifies your scores directly with us, so they will know what your actual scores are. So just make sure you don't take any shortcuts. These guys are just scammers, and they could mess up your immigration journey. So you know just take the test legitimately at a test center, get your legitimate scores, and that way you're protected, and you don't run into any issues with your permanent residence application.
That's great. So I think we have a lot of people in our chat here. I don't see much questions, but I can just scroll through, and many people are saying hi to us. Shailaja, I think Patrick, your friends also are there, I hope. Right. From
Yes.
Celpip page, a lot of people are saying hi.
Good morning,
And we will
Kemi.
just display their messages as well. Good morning to everybody. And this is New Year. Everybody is in the New Year vibe. Learning is essential to succeed. That's what my experience is. Recently I was reading somewhere, it's in a gas station, in front of the gas station, they have displayed something there. um what is that? You have to keep on learning, because the life teaches everything every day, something to you. So
Yes.
language learning can be our priority, especially because when you want to come to Canada, especially those who are in India, those who are listening here, many people spend money on work permit, different scams, that and this. So if you spend some time in learning language skills, so that'll be a pathway to Canada, actually, right? So a lot of people are saying good morning. I'm just displaying. So this is a
Good morning,
custom
Jefferson.
for us every day. A lot of people come over here, and they type in here. Uh, you
That's
can also
awesome.
see any questions there. I don't see any questions here.
Yeah, that's good. I hope it
Yeah.
was clear
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
And
So if you have any questions more, you can type in maybe like 3 minutes more. We can stay on here, and you can type in your questions. So we can also answer your questions.
good morning,
I see
Aminat.
I think, this is a question. Please, how can we get a free material apart from the YouTube? Right. Musa Edward has
Um,
asked.
so yeah, we will have a promotional study product available for attending today's live session. So maybe just we can talk about it after Bijou, but you will, I guess, notify people on your channels of how to get this study product that we'll be giving out. Um, Let me see. So we have YouTube, we have the practice tests. Yeah, so that's just look out for Bijo to provide this information, but you'll be getting like an exclusive study product, which normally costs $25 on the Celpip store for free for attending today's session. And And then what I also said was once a month we have like study product sales where all of our study products are pretty much 50% off. So check our Instagram channel. We post announcements regarding this, like when you can get these products at a discounted price. So, but there are a lot of materials that we offer. Free materials, paid materials. We also have podcasts that we release, different things on the website.
Thank you. So, so this is another question, Patrick. How long should one prepare for the test?
That's a great question. It really depends on your own English proficiency level. So I would say definitely take the free practice test as a starting point to figure out how comfortable do you feel with the test. So if you don't feel too comfortable taking the practice test, then maybe you need to spend a little bit more time preparing. So I would say at least a month and a half, you want to be preparing. If you find the practice test quite challenging, then maybe 2 months is good. But you want to learn the format. You want to learn what raters are looking for when they're scoring you. So you want to learn the strategies, the tips. But it depends on your English ability. But I would say at least a month and a half to kind of learn the test format and get the upper hand.
Yeah. I didn't get this one. Do you have some hint about it? This question?
Some which?
Can you use the TEE?
Not sure. Can you
Not sure.
clarify what you mean there?
Yeah, sure.
Excellent speaking.
If you could type it again, then we can just. I think
I got some tea here, but it's a different kind of tea.
Okay, yeah. I think the same person has put another question. Test for PR application also. I think that is his question. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so CELPIP is accepted for PR. So it is one of the options. I believe there's 3 different tests you can choose from, but CELPIP is one of the options for that is accepted for PR applications.
Yeah, thank you. Another question, how can I make overall grade band 12? And also, how can I get the detailed material? Right.
I would say, I mean, 12 is tough. That's basically like perfect. Um, you don't have to, like, you can make mistakes in CELPIP to get a 12, but you have to demonstrate a very strong grasp of English. Um, I would say consider taking preparation classes. We have a list of prep class providers on the CELPIP website. So consider, practicing with a teacher. You will have to spend a little bit more money for these preparation classes, but they can really help you, provide you with detailed feedback from the teacher. So definitely check those out. We have prep providers that offer online classes. We have ones that offer in-person classes. But instead of just studying by yourself, it may be more beneficial to have a teacher instructing you on how to ace the CELPIP test. So that would be my recommendations. We also have webinars that tell you, for those looking to score a 9 or higher in speaking, we have a Speaking Pro webinar called Target 9 Plus, and that tells you how to achieve a 9 or higher in the speaking component. And then we have a Writing Pro webinar, Target 9 Plus, which does the same thing. So that's available on our YouTube channel. So we have webinars that focus on how to get like a more advanced score in that particular component.
Yeah, another question is there a regular extended certificate or fee to extend the scores? So that's a good question, right?
Regular extended certificate or fee. What do they mean by that? Like extend the validity period? Or
Yeah, I think so. It is. Can they extend the validity period or not?
No. So it will be 2 years from the test date that the results will technically not be valid anymore. So just make sure you plan your test date accordingly so that when you actually apply, that your scores are valid and have been taken within the last 2 years. I know for if you're applying for like citizenship, I know that the government is a little bit more flexible on when you took your exam. But for PR, the government is very strict. It has to be taken within the last 2 years. So, but for citizenship, they might be a little bit more lenient. Like if you've taken the test maybe 3 or 4 years ago, sometimes the government will still accept the results for applying for Canadian citizenship. But for PR, it's very strict. So just plan your test date accordingly.
Thank you. So how does CELPIP test results work for PR application? Is it a composite score that is taken into account or the lowest you got out of 4?
That's another good question, Alex. Thanks for that. So basically, it really comes down to your lowest score. So you're going to have to meet a cutoff score. So, for example, for express entry, maybe the cutoff score is CELPIP 7. So you have to make sure that you get at least a 7 in all 4 components. So if you were to get like a level 6 in reading, but your minimum cutoff score is 7, then you would have to take the test again. So you have to get whatever your minimum score is, which you can find out from the government's website or consulting an immigration lawyer. They will tell you what minimum score you have to meet, but you cannot get lower than that minimum score in any of the 4 sections. So, if the minimum score is 8, then you have to get all 8s or higher in order to pass in one test. So, hopefully that's clear.
Thank you. So if you can post in the comment box, if you could, the Instagram link,
Instagram
it would be
link. Yeah,
helpful.
sure.
Right.
If
Yeah.
I type, can they see it or
Or I can do what I can do after this session. I can just add it in the description so they can follow.
perfect? That's awesome. Yeah,
That's
but
okay.
our Instagram channel is Celpip Test Official. So Celpip Test Official. That's our official Instagram channel.
And also we have the Canadian skills uh, page also. So you can also find some information because Canadian Skills Development Center, basically, I didn't tell anything about the Canadian Skills Development Center. So what we do here is we do career advices for new migrants, especially those who are here with PR or citizens. They can take up some free courses with the government help actually. So that's what basically we do. And also we help in test preparations, and also the study permit application. We have a student professional service available, so you can also like our page as well. So canadianskills.ca is our website. Canadian Skills is a page.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
moving on to other question. Right, it is practice test, one time test, or it can be done multiple times?
Good question. So you can take the practice test as many times as you want. You can take it unlimited amount of times, but it's going to have the same questions. So, you might want to consider after you've taken the 2 practice tests that are free, you might want to consider buying a new practice test that have brand new questions, because otherwise you're just going to be answering the same questions over and over again if you retake the free practice tests. So we do have maybe 20, 25 paid practice tests, which have brand new questions that you can buy after you've taken the free ones, the 2 free practice tests.
Thank you. So, morning. Yeah. How's the band score calculated?
So with CELPIP, it's basically you get the individual level for each component. So listening, reading, writing, speaking. It varies for each component. So listening and reading, they are multiple choice format. So you're going to be given a score based on how many questions you answered correctly out of the total. So the listening component and the reading component each have 38 total multiple choice questions. So however many you answer correct out of the total, that will calculate your overall listening and reading level. For speaking and writing, there's a lot more that is factored into your score. So they are human scored, speaking and writing. So they look at a lot of different things. Number of ideas, quality of ideas, how well are you supporting your opinion, vocabulary, using the appropriate tone. So there's just a lot of things that go into the speaking and the writing score. But listening and reading is computer scored because it's just multiple choice format. So you have to answer as many of them as you can out of the total to get a high score in those two sections. Hopefully that's clear.
Yeah, thank you. So this is a general question about the scholarship in public university in Canada for 12th students in BC. I think better you can contact the different universities, and sometimes they offer scholarships. That'll be the better way. When I was in India, there was a system like the IELTS. The British Council was giving the highest score, the candidates a special scholarship. Do you have anything like that? The CELPIP is providing any kind of scholarship for students, anything like that, Patrick?
Yeah. So for our academic test, CALE,
Hmm.
if you score I think it's a 70 average or higher in the test, you'll be entered into a draw to receive a CALE scholarship. So
Mm.
if you go to cael.ca/scholarships, it'll give you more details on how you can be entered into this draw. But basically, you have to meet a certain score or higher in order to qualify for the draw, and then you'll be placed into like a hat, and then we will pick the lucky winners that get scholarships. So I'm just reading our website here. We are excited to announce 3 scholarships for international students, uh, 30,000 Canadian total, with 3 awards, one each of 15,000 Canadian, 10,000 Canadian, and 5,000 Canadian. So we have like first, second, and third place. But if you go to cael.ca/scholarships, you can learn how to apply for that. But yeah, basically you have to get a certain score or higher in the CAEL exam to qualify, and then you'll have a chance at winning that scholarship money.
Yeah, that's a great question. So we got a lot of information about it. So thank you, Srija Bini, for the question. Next question. How do we access the free practice test for attending today's webinar? I hope we can post the website link there once we have finalized the coupon, those stuff. Then I can display in our website. And
Awesome.
definitely the link will be in the description in a day, right?
Great.
Maybe in Monday. Yeah, it's a weekend. So everybody would be busy with the weekend, maybe, right? If we are finalizing something today, then we will post it today. Otherwise, by next week, it'll be available. Thank you. And you
Yeah.
can
So
subscribe
like
this channel also. My channel, I came as a new migrant in Canada, so I also have gone through all this testing and all the stuff here. So we share different expert advice here. So this channel is basically in my mother tongue, but all the news I produce here, we have subtitles here and description here, and also we have a newsletter, and I send all the information for the new migrants and the students in our newsletter. Right? Thank you, Patrick. So we have
awesome.
few more questions, I think.
Yeah. These are all great questions.
Yeah. Is there
Uh,
one attempt to record an answer in the speaking part?
yeah. So you only have one time that you can record your answer. Yeah, you're not able to re-record it. Yeah, but before each speaking part, you're going to get like preparation time where you can think about what you want to say, if you want to, take any notes to refer to as you're speaking. So you will get like 30 to 60 seconds of preparation time before each speaking task where you can see the topic and you can kind of prepare your answer mentally or writing it down on a piece of paper. So you will have that time to prepare your answer, but then you only have one chance to record the official answer. Yes.
Thank you. Next question. Submitting request for re-evaluation of listening and reading will have any possibility of changing score?
Honestly speaking, no, because it's multiple choice format. So the computer will just recheck those answers and it'll come back the same score. So we only recommend reevaluating writing or speaking because those are like human score. So there might be a difference in opinion on which score you garnered. But listening and reading, we don't recommend it because it's pretty much, question number one, the answer is A, so it's always going to be A. It's not going to change. So there's like a 99% chance you'll get the same score if you reevaluate listening and reading.
Yeah, we missed a question in between. I apologize for that. Right. So Winnie has asked like, approximately how many words are required in the writing test session?
So we recommend the range is like 150 words minimum to 250 words maximum. So I would say try to get closer to 250 words. I think if you're within 5 or 10% of either boundary, you're fine. So if you write like 260 words instead of the maximum 250 words, you should be fine. But you don't want to write like a lot more. You don't want to write like 300 words if the maximum is 250, and you don't want to write a lot lower than the minimum, which is at least 150 words. So you want to stay within that range. But you want to make sure that you're fully explaining and articulating your opinions. So you want to, uh, I would say, try to get closer to 250 words for each of the two tasks for writing.
That's great. Thank you. Submitting request for reevaluation of listening and reading will have any possibility of changing score? I think we have
I
addressed
think that
another
was the one
question
I
on that.
just answered. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So no, it won't have any possibility to change your score.
yeah. Can you apply for evaluation for some or all components? Is there any? Yeah, is it possible taking one component and applying for the revaluation? What do you think?
Yeah, you can reevaluate all components, but we only recommend to reevaluate speaking or writing, the human scored sections. So you have about 6 months from the time that you receive your results to request a reevaluation. It's done in your CELPIP account. So you have to sign into your CELPIP account, and then beside your test, it's going to have an actions button. You click on that, and it will say request test reevaluation. And then you follow the steps to officially request the reevaluation. So the reevaluation has a cost. So it's about $55 plus tax to reevaluate one component. And I believe it takes 1 to 2 weeks for the process to be completed. So your if you reevaluate speaking, for example, your speaking responses will go to new raters. They will not know what your original score is. They will not know that it's a reevaluation. They're just going to evaluate you. Um, if you're if the new raters feel that your score is higher than the original score, we will refund you the reevaluation cost. If they feel that your score is lower than the original score you got, we'll just keep your original score. So um, at the end of a reevaluation, your score will either stay the same or it will increase for that component. So that's kind of how that process works.
Thank you. I think this is the last question, Patrick. So
Okay.
we have addressed all the questions, right? Yeah. Is it evaluated by computer, artificial intelligence, or real people?
So the speaking and writing sections are human scored, but we will be incorporating AI scoring as well into those two sections. So right now, speaking and writing are only human scored. But very soon they're going to be human plus AI. So it's going to be it won't just be human and it won't just be AI. It's going to be both together, giving you an official writing score or speaking score. So we will be incorporating AI into the marking for speaking and writing. For listening and reading, it's multiple choice, so it's just going to be computer scored given that format. That was a good
Thank you.
question.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of questions. We have addressed all the questions here. Thanks for being here. And we
My
prepared
pleasure.
only a few questions, but our followers has asked a lot of questions, which actually gave a lot of inputs, and we were not prepared for all these questions, but your inputs only gave us, the hints we have to address these topics. And Patrick has answered it very well. Like it is really crystal clear for us, because I'm also having basic knowledge only about this one, but after this 1 hour session I got a lot of information about. I think this is same with the other people, those who have attended this webinar as well, because you got a lot of questions. We have a few more questions have come up. Anyway, you have taken initiative to type in these questions. We will definitely answering those as well. We will take 3 more minutes to wind up this session. You
Yes,
can
sir.
still type in, no problem. So 3 minutes more we are taking to address all the questions over here. One more questions we have from Alex. I have passed the test in October 2023, and I got 12 in listening, 11 in speaking, 12 in reading, and 8 in writing. Is it possible to reevaluate writing component if it's beyond 6 months deadline?
The answer is unfortunately no. It has to be done within that 6 months from the. I believe it's from the time you receive the scores. So, basically, when you sign into your account, if you click on the actions button near your test, and then it should say request test reevaluation. So if it no longer says that, then that means that you're not able to reevaluate it anymore. But it is 6 months that you have. So once that's passed, you're not able to reevaluate the writing component anymore, unfortunately. Um, yeah, I'm hoping that in the near future, the government will allow you to retake only one component that you fell short in. Once the government allows this type of feature, we will offer this to everybody. So, but right now, if you fell short in one component, you have to rewrite the whole test. But I'm hopeful that soon the government will change this requirement, and then we will be able to offer like a single skill retake for the one component that you fell short in. So yeah, keep checking our website, our Instagram channel. If we do begin to offer this, we will notify everybody on our website and social media.
Thank you, Patrick. Yeah. So we have Darshana RV has a question from the Facebook page, that is, could you please explain about visiting visa for parents? So we may have one immigration consultant session here, maybe this month itself. So we will answer this question in that one. So thank you very much for joining this session, everybody. And we will have some follow-up sessions also in 2 months. We will be scheduling it, and we can answer more questions about, and we will have more updates in this YouTube channel, and also Celpip official page, and also in Canadian Skills Development Center website. So we will be posting updates over there. So Thanks for joining again here. Do you have any final word, Patrick, before winding up?
No, just wanted to thank you for having me
Yeah.
on the air today, and yeah, just wanted to wish everybody the best of luck with your immigration process, taking the your English test. Definitely look out on Bijou's channel for information on how to get the free Celpip study product. Um, yeah, also check out our YouTube channel. It has hours of free lessons on there. Um, and yeah, best of luck. Enjoy the weekend. It's Friday, so that's good news. And yeah, yeah, just make sure you spend time preparing for the exam. Definitely consider taking preparation classes with a teacher because that's, in my opinion, the best way to prepare for the exam. Yeah, just thanks again, Bijou, for having me on.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you so much. How you have given a lot of insights and about the preparation. Also, we may also have preparation classes over here. We will update you about when we have the
That's
preparation
right.
classes, right? So we are
Awesome.
also prepping up for that. And thanks again, Patrick. See you. See you next time.
My
Right.
pleasure.
Right. Bye.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Great weekend. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.